For centuries, one mysterious cloth has baffled the world. Some call it a medieval trick, others believe it's the burial shroud of Christ. On its surface lies the faint image of a crucified man. But this is no ordinary mark. When it was first photographed in 1898, the world was stunned. The negative revealed a clear, lifelike face, something no medieval artist could have created. No paint, no brush strokes, no known technique can explain how the image exists. Scientists called it impossible. Believers called it a miracle. And then came artificial intelligence. Unlike humans, it had no faith and no doubt, only data. What AI uncovered inside the Shroud of Turin was not just an image, but hidden geometry, repeating codes and strange patterns buried deep in the fibers. Reporters were shocked. Scientists went silent. Because instead of solving the mystery, AI opened a darker one. Is this really the cloth that wrapped Jesus? Or something beyond our understanding? For centuries, people asked if the shroud was a miracle or a forgery. Now, AI suggests it may be something else entirely, something no one was meant to see. And once you know what it found, you'll realize why this mystery is more terrifying than ever. Before going into details about this, please subscribe to the channel so that you get such videos first. For centuries, a cloth has been surprising people. The name of this cloth is Shroud of Turin. This is not an ordinary cloth, but a piece of linen about 14 feet long and 3 feet wide, whose weaving is also different from ordinary clothes. This is the reason that when it is seen, it does not seem to be just a cloth, but a mystery is hidden on it. There is a light image on this cloth, which till date forces people to think. This image is not of any ordinary figure, but of a whole human body. And the most surprising thing is that this figure is visible both on the front and back. That is, if you look carefully, it seems as if a person has been wrapped in this cloth, and the entire mark of his body is imprinted in it. Now the question arises that whose image is this? In the pictures made on this cloth, a man is visible, on whose body there are marks of many types of wounds. Such marks are visible on the wrist and feet, as if nails have been hammered there. There are marks on the forehead, as if a crown of thorns had been worn. The marks of injury and whipping are clearly visible on the back and the entire body. That is, it exactly matches the way it is described in the stories of Jesus Christ's crucifixion. This is why many people believe that this cloth is the same in which Jesus Christ was buried after his crucifixion. But on the other hand, some people say that all this is just a trick. They believe that someone made this cloth very cleverly so that people consider it a miracle. But when we look at history, this cloth first appeared in the 14th century, and since then it has become a cause of mystery. Scientists tested it many times. They checked whether there was any painting, any color, or whether this image was created in any way. But every time the result was that there are no brush strokes, no pigments, and no known technique was used in it. That is, this picture seems to have been made by itself. Think about it. If an artist had made it, then there would have been some evidence of his work somewhere, like traces of color, strokes, or patterns. But nothing like that is found here. This is the reason why scientists have also become confused about this cloth. And this is the reason why it has not remained just a religious or historical object, but has also become a big puzzle for science. History and journey. History always gives us some such mysteries, which do not let the curiosity of people end even after the passage of time. The Shroud of Turin is also one such mystery. The journey of this cloth is as interesting as the figure made on it. For the first time, this cloth came in front of the world in the 13th century. It is said that it was first shown in France. When people saw it, both surprise and discussion spread. Some people associated it with Jesus Christ, while some called it a hoax. But as time passed, the discussion about this cloth kept increasing. In that era, both the church and the society were divided about it. Many people considered it divine, while many thought it was a trick. But despite this, the cloth was kept safe, and later it had to make a big journey. Gradually, it reached the hands of the Savoy family. The Savoy family was a powerful and influential family in Europe at that time. The cloth coming to them made its story even more special. Finally, this family took it to the Italian city of Turin, and from here it got the name, Shroud of Turin. Even after reaching Turin, its journey was not easy. Over the centuries, the Shroud of Turin faced many dangers. The biggest danger was fire. It is said that many times churches and cathedrals caught fire, and the shroud was about to be damaged. But each time it somehow survived. Although the fire did leave burn marks on its edges, which can still be seen today. But the interesting thing is that the image that made it so special, the light shape in front and behind, remained safe. Some people consider it a coincidence, while others call it a miracle. Imagine, if it had been completely destroyed by fire, we would never have this mystery today. Perhaps we would have heard about it, but would not have been able to see it. Today, the Shroud of Turin is kept in a very safe case. Inside special glass, where both humidity and temperature are controlled, so that the shroud does not deteriorate further. Now no one can touch it. It is shown to the public only on special occasions, and that too under very strict security arrangements. From the 13th century till today, many wars, many destructions, and many incidents have happened, but this cloth has survived. And perhaps this is the reason why people do not consider it ordinary. Photography of 1898 and the big revelation. The biggest turning point of the Shroud of Turin came when it was photographed for the first time in 1898. By that time, people had seen it and discussed it. But the real shocking incident happened when this mysterious cloth was captured by the camera. At that time, an Italian lawyer and amateur photographer, Secondo Pia, got a chance to take its picture. Imagine, it was the 19th century. Cameras and photography were not that common yet. But when Pia took this picture, he did not even know that this work would become a part of history. The story is that when he took the photo for the first time and took out its negative, a surprising thing came to light. In that negative, the slightly blurred figure on the shroud suddenly became very clear, as if a human face has appeared in front of you. Such a clear face and body figure had never been seen before. When seen with normal eyes, it just looked blurry, but in the negative, it looked so lifelike that it seemed like a real human being was present inside that cloth. Secondo Pia himself was surprised by this result. He said that when he saw the negative, he got goosebumps. He felt as if he was looking directly into the eyes of the man whose image was formed on this cloth. This was the incident that deepened the debate going on about the Shroud of Turin. At that time, there was an uproar in the newspapers and among the people. Some said that this is clearly the face of Jesus Christ. At the same time, some critics called it a photographic trick. But the question was that if this was just a trick, then how could the shape of the whole body emerge in such detail in the negative? Photography made this mystery bigger instead of ending it. Earlier people used to say that the image on the cloth was blurred. But now the face, eyes, nose, and even the marks of his wounds were clearly visible in the pictures. And this is why religious believers immediately considered it a miracle. At the same time, scientists and skeptics said that the matter is not so simple. There must be some unknown technique or trick behind it. That incident of 1898 is still considered the most important part of the story of the Shroud of Turin. Because on that very day, this mystery became a topic of discussion all over the world. Imagine if Secondo Pia had not taken that photo. Then perhaps this cloth would have remained limited to the faith of some people and the debate of some historians. But the pictures taken by him made it a global mystery. Even today, when that picture is seen, it seems that it is not an ordinary picture, but a testimony that has come from across time. That photography of Secondo Pia forever included the shroud in the biggest mysteries of history. Scientific tests of the 20th century. After Secondo Pia's pictures in 1898, the curiosity about the Shroud of Turin had increased even more. People were now not only looking at it with faith or doubt, but also wanted to test it scientifically. Many times in the 20th century, scientific teams conducted various tests on this cloth. Their purpose was clear: to find out how this mysterious image was formed on the cloth and whether it could really be the shroud of Jesus Christ. First of all, the scientists did a chemical test. They closely looked at the threads of the cloth and tested whether color or paint had been used in it. Because if it was an image made by human hands, then paint or some kind of color would definitely be found. But the test found that there were no brush strokes on the threads, nor any pigment marks. Seeing this, the scientists also got confused, because it meant that this image was not made using any common painting technique. After this, microscopic investigation was done. Scientists put the threads under the microscope to see if there was any layer or substance that was added from outside. But here also, they did not find anything special. The image was limited to the upper surface of the cloth, as if someone had influenced only the outer threads, and nothing went deeper. This was even more mysterious because if a human creates something, it affects deeply. Historians and experts also did a historical investigation. They tried to understand when this cloth was made and where it came from. According to some research, it appeared in Europe in the 13th or 14th century, but its real age is still controversial. Some say it could be much older. Techniques like carbon dating were used many times, but they too could not prove to be completely conclusive. Every time a new test was done, people thought that now the mystery would be solved. But the opposite happened. After every investigation, this mystery deepened. For example, scientists thought that they would understand the technology of the image, but on the contrary, the question became bigger that how was this image created without color, without brush, and without any known technology? Even some tests also showed that the marks on the cloth contained 3D information. That is, if you process them digitally, then a three-dimensional model of the face and body of a real person can be made. Now, how is this possible? No one has been able to understand till date. All these scientific efforts of the 20th century, instead of ending this mystery, made it even more interesting. As if every time someone tried to remove the curtain, a deeper layer would emerge behind it. This is the reason why the Shroud of Turin remains a challenge for both science and faith even today. 20th century scientific investigation did give us some clues. It wasn't painted, the image wasn't deeply embedded, and it wasn't made using normal technology. But conclusive evidence still eludes us. That's why the cloth remains not just a religious object, but one of the greatest mysteries in history and science. Unique nature of the image. The most mysterious thing about the Shroud of Turin is not only its history, but also the unique nature of the image made on it. When scientists examined it carefully, they were first surprised to know that no paint, ink, or brush strokes have been used anywhere in it. That is, it is not a painting. If it had been made by a human, then color particles or brush marks would definitely have been visible between the threads of the cloth. But nothing like this was found here. The second specialty is that this image has not gone deep into the cloth. Usually, if any color or anything is applied on the cloth, it penetrates the threads and goes down. But the image made on this cloth is limited only to the top surface. Scientists found that this image is made in a layer just a few microns thick. That is, so thin that it is almost impossible to estimate its depth with the human eye. As if the cloth was just lightly touched and the image emerged on its own. This is the reason why, looking at this image, it seems that no normal method was used to make it. Neither does it seem to be made by human hands nor by any natural process. Some scientists have even said that it seems as if some strong light or energy has touched the cloth from above, and the image has been formed by its touch. Just like the flash of a camera captures a picture of something in a moment. Similarly, it seems as if some unknown light has imprinted the shape of that body on the cloth. Imagine how surprising this is. If it was a painting, then the technique would have been understandable. If there was a burning mark, then also it would have been understandable. But here everything is the opposite. No paint, no burning, no depth. Just a light impression on the surface of the cloth, which creates a complete picture of the entire human body. Radiocarbon dating and controversy of 1988. The biggest turning point in the discussions on the Shroud of Turin came in 1988, when it was sent for the first time for radiocarbon dating test. People around the world were hoping that the real age of this mysterious cloth would finally be known, and perhaps the secret would be revealed whether it was really the shroud of Jesus Christ or not. A small portion of the cloth was selected for testing and sent to 3 different laboratories: Oxford, England, Zurich, Switzerland, and Arizona, USA. All 3 labs conducted their own tests, and all gave almost identical dates. According to the results, this cloth dates from between 1260 and 1390 AD. That is, this cloth belongs to the medieval period and is about 1,000 years after the time of Jesus Christ. As soon as these results came out, there was an uproar all over the world. Skeptics immediately said that, look, it has been clearly proved that this cloth is not real, but a medieval hoax. According to them, someone had made it in the name of people's faith, so that it would be considered a miracle. But on the other hand, many people started questioning these results. They said that the part selected for testing was not a true representation of the entire cloth. In fact, the corner of the cloth from which the threads were cut for radiocarbon dating had been repaired many times. Due to fire, smoke, and repairs over the centuries, the fabric in that corner had become different from the rest of the cloth. If you want to know the real age, then samples should have been taken from the entire cloth, not just from a repaired part. From here, the controversy deepened. Some scientists said that due to smoke and repairs, the carbon level of that part may have changed, which made the dating wrong. That is, the results obtained do not actually tell the age of the entire cloth, but only that small part which was added later. After this, the debate became more intense instead of stopping. On one side, there was scientific evidence which proved it to be medieval, while on the other hand, there were arguments which said that those evidences were incomplete and doubtful. This is the reason why this investigation gave rise to more questions instead of proving to be conclusive. People expected that the test of 1988 would end this mystery forever. But the opposite happened. Now people became even more divided. Some started believing it to be a fake, while some started believing more that it was the real cloth, just the test was not done properly. Role of artificial intelligence. The debate on the Shroud of Turin continued for centuries. Sometimes it was called a miracle, sometimes a fraud. But in the 21st century, when the era of artificial intelligence, AI, came, the effort to understand this mystery reached a new level. AI does not think emotionally like humans. It does not matter whether this cloth is religious or historical, it only needs data. And when scientists got the high-resolution pictures of Shroud, analyzed by AI, surprising results came out. AI first did a mathematical analysis of the image made on the cloth. It closely examined every layer of thread, every shade, every shape. What looked blurry to the human eye, AI showed it by converting it into a clear pattern. The result was that this image was not like any ordinary painting. If it had been made by a human hand, it would have had unevenness. Somewhere the strokes were dark, somewhere light, but here everything was so balanced that it seemed to be a part of a systematic process. AI went deeper and found out the geometry. The figure made on the cloth was not just a picture of a face or a body, but mathematical proportions were hidden within it. For example, the distance between the length of the body, the face, and the rest of the body parts was in a very precise pattern. These proportions were such that it seemed as if someone had deliberately created them according to the rules of mathematics. Apart from this, the AI also found that this image is like distance-based imaging. That is, the image on the cloth was formed as if the energy or light emitted from a source affected the cloth according to the distance. This means that only the topmost parts of the threads on the surface of the cloth were changed, and the layers below were not affected. It is exactly like a flashlight just touches the surface and goes out and does not reach inside. These discoveries made it clear that the image of the Shroud of Turin is neither a painting nor the result of any ordinary art. It seems to be the result of some unknown process. The question is that if it was made by humans, then what technique did they use? Because even today's modern technology does not find it easy to create such a fine and accurate image only on the surface of the cloth. After the results of AI came out, more debate started among the scientists. Some said that this proves that the shroud is real and may be related to some divine event. At the same time, some believe that it is still a mystery. But it is clear that it cannot be a simple picture made by a medieval artist. The role of AI proved to be not to end this mystery, but to deepen it further. Now, people started asking more questions. Is this really the shroud of Jesus Christ? Is it made by some process that humans have not yet been able to understand? Or is it a part of some unknown technology, which existed at that time but is now lost? AI's surprising discoveries. When the Shroud of Turin was tested by artificial intelligence, AI, the things that came out surprised both scientists and common people. Till now, people considered it just a blurred image, but AI found such patterns and details in it, which were almost impossible to see with the human eye. First of all, AI examined the face and torso made on the cloth. There it found amazing symmetry and proportions. That is, the position of the eyes, nose, lips, and other parts of the face was in perfect mathematical balance. The distance between the torso and organs of the body also followed a particular pattern. It seemed as if the image was not made on its own, but was made under some very precise rule or process. This thing was surprising in itself, because if it was an ordinary cloth, then such fineness and perfect proportions would not be found in it. AI caught another interesting thing. Wherever there were stains like blood or wounds on the cloth, they appeared different from the image. That is, the image and blood marks were not made by the same process. If it was a painting, both the image and the blood would have been created using colors together. But here the case was the opposite. The image was created in a separate layer, and the blood-like stains were visible separately. This further deepened the suspicion that this cloth was affected by two different processes. This discovery was no less than a shock for the scientists. Now the question was, what were those two processes? Was the image somehow imprinted on the cloth first, and then the blood-like marks were added? Or were both created together due to some unknown energy or event? These discoveries of AI made Shroud even more mysterious, because now it is not just a religious object or an ordinary historical cloth. It had hidden secrets that seem beyond human understanding. Some people said that this proves that Shroud is really connected to a divine event. At the same time, some scientists believe that we are yet to find its technical reasons. Scientific and religious reactions. When artificial intelligence and modern science gave their results on the Shroud of Turin, reactions started coming from all sides. Some people directly called it proof of resurrection. They believed that this is the same cloth in which Jesus Christ was buried, and when he was resurrected, that supernatural energy left the image of the body on the cloth. For them, it was no less than a miracle, and they found confirmation of their faith in it. But at the same time, some experts warned that we should not reach a conclusion so quickly. They said that in the world of science, there must be solid evidence of every discovery. If we call it a miracle without a complete investigation, then it would be against the scientific approach. For them, it was necessary to investigate every possibility, whether it is a natural process, an old technique, or an unknown reason. The view of scientists was also interesting. Many scientists clearly said that the Shroud of Turin is a phenomenon. That is, a natural or unknown event that has not been fully understood yet. This meant that they were neither calling it a divine event nor a hoax. They were simply admitting that it is a mysterious process that is beyond our current understanding. This is a path that needs further research. The Vatican, which is the biggest center of the Catholic Church, always kept silence on this matter. The Vatican never said whether the shroud was real or fake. Perhaps they believed that if they called it real, they would have to face opposition from scientists, and if they called it fake, the faith of believers would be broken. So they simply left it, calling it a symbol of faith. Amidst all this, the Shroud of Turin gave rise to new debates in the world. The first question that arose was whether there are any other clothes in the world that have a similar pattern. If yes, then where are they, and are they also related to this mystery? Till now, no such cloth has been found from any other place, which further deepened the suspicion that perhaps this cloth is absolutely unique. The second big question was whether this process was natural or the result of some special technology. Is it a natural effect that happened on its own under the right conditions? Or was it made by some old but lost technology? Some experts have even said that this could be a part of an old photo technique, in which images were created through light and chemicals. But the question immediately arises that if this is so, then how could such a technique have existed in the 13th–14th century? Further questions. The more discoveries were made about the Shroud of Turin, the more new questions arose. The real puzzle still remains the same. How did this image come about? This cloth is 14 feet long and 3 feet wide, and the front and back image of a complete man is present on it. But scientists believe that it was not made with any paint, brush, or normal technique. So the question arises, what was the energy that affected only the surface and did not leave any effect till below? With today's technology, we can print an image on a cloth, but that color goes inside the threads. Here, the case is different. The image of the shroud is only in the upper layer of the surface and did not reach deep. It seems as if some strong and unknown energy has slightly burnt or changed the threads in one stroke, but the bottom layer remained untouched. This question is still the biggest mystery. What is the process that can be so limited and precise? Some experts believe that this must have happened due to some kind of light or radiation. Imagine if a powerful energy suddenly came out of a body and touched the surface of the cloth. It could only affect the upper threads. But how special this energy must have been. that it did not even burn the cloth and left only an image. This is still a matter of surprise for science. Now, another interesting question is, will AI be able to read this pattern as data in the future? Today, AI has shown that geometry and proportions are hidden in the pattern made on the cloth. If technology advances further, then perhaps AI can convert that image into digital data. This would mean that we would not only see the image, but would also be able to understand what energy and what process was used at that time. But AI alone is not enough for this. We have to ask better and deeper questions. Till now, people have been asking only this: is this cloth real or fake? Is it of Jesus Christ, or has it been made by someone else? But the real question should be, how did this image form on the cloth? Which laws of physics can apply to this? Was it some unknown chemical reaction, some strange light, or some energy that we have not yet been able to understand? That is, the Shroud of Turin is not proof of divinity or deception, but an open invitation for science, for discovery, and for curiosity. It challenges us to think beyond our understanding. So, the mystery of the Shroud of Turin is still incomplete. The more we try to understand it, the more it becomes deeper. Now, the big question to you: is this really proof of a divine event, or some unknown scientific process? Do tell us your opinion in the comments. And yes, if you want to be the first to know about such secrets and revelations, then subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon, because the next story may change your thinking.